All right, hello YouTube. It's Sign here with Hobbies of Man once again, and today we're doing another reading check-in, monthly check-in, whatever you want to call it. However, today's video is mostly going to be a reading log for the end of the year, where I talk about everything that I've read so far, and then I'm going to be finishing up before I go on my holiday, which will essentially be the last reading log of the year, right? I'm going to have a separate reading log post the holiday season, which is going to be kind of like my holiday reading log. But currently, I have a lot of stuff that I'm either just starting that I'm going to finish in the next 2 or 3 days before I go to Mexico, because I still have about, I don't know, 3 or 4 days left to go before I end up going to Mexico. But I'm going to start my holiday a little bit before that, I think. Well, no, never mind. I'm going to start my holiday after I leave for Mexico, but I'm going to have videos up until the 20th. So there you go. But this is going to be the last reading log of the year, or yeah, more or less, but I'm not going to call it a reading log because it's more than that, this video. This video is going to be a reading check-in. I'm going to tell you everything that I've read so far, everything I plan to finish before the 20th, or before the 18th, which is when I leave to Mexico. I'm going to tell you about what I've been watching, and I'm going to tell you about what my updated holiday TBR is going to be now that I have a few more things to read. So let's just jump into it. So yeah, let's start with the easy stuff. I've been watching quite a bit of Wheel of Time. I haven't really been able to watch that much TV, but the Wheel of Time has only been 6 episodes so far, and I managed to kind of find enough time within my last 2 weeks of school, or yeah, the last 2 weeks of school slash the first 2 weeks of the month, in order to manage to catch up to all of the Wheel of Time. So I'm caught up to the current episode that came out last week. I'm gonna end up being caught up to the episode that comes out this Friday. However, I'm not gonna be caught up in terms of videos for them. I'm gonna try to record the rest of the videos that I have for all of the episodes that I have already watched today or tomorrow, and have them come out every day until I go on vacation. But I'm definitely gonna miss the last 2 Wheel of Time episodes, so I'm just gonna have to do those after my break after the new year. So check that out when it comes out. But yeah, overall, I think that I've been doing pretty good in terms of what I've been watching. I mean, I haven't really watched too much. I did start to watch One Piece because I was like, I wanted something comfortable that I had already, consumed before, but that was kind of different from my usual. So I started watching it, but then the whole thing with Totally Not Mark happened. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to watch it anymore because it feels kind of dirty. They're kind of destroying this dude's livelihood, and they don't really care. And he even had to step away from the, what's it called? The boycott call to action thing, because the Japanese audience basically said, fuck you, you're dumb, you're too confrontational for our backbreaking like deference and cultural kind of tendency towards letting people walk all over us. You're too confrontational, we don't really appreciate you. We don't think that you're what's it called, right to ask a company for this or whatever, and they didn't like that it was a threat, basically, although it's not really. It's just like, here's what you're doing, here's what I'm gonna do. It's not even negotiations, it's just him telling them what he's gonna do, and he had to basically backtrack because it didn't work for him. So I guess maybe it's not that bad of an idea to get back to watching One Piece, but I definitely don't want to support Toei. I still want to talk about One Piece, so if I talk about it, it will only be the manga. But I don't think I'm going to watch the anime anymore, or at least not until, either I get over this and I feel like it doesn't matter anymore, or until they actually do something and Toei kind of changes it up. Of course, Japanese laws are archaic. Toei's a Japanese company. It's run by 80-year-old people. Their reaction is understandable, but the problem really is YouTube, and they're allowing this shit to happen, right? So it's really disgusting. It sucks, but it's just how it is. So I guess that's just gonna happen. That's just how it's gonna be for that. So I started watching One Piece. I'm gonna not continue to watch it anymore because I think that Toei really dropped the ball with how they're treating totally not Mark, and it kind of sucks that he had to backpedal on his call to action because the Japanese audience was like, no, they're right, which is insane, but whatever. I really don't like shitting on other people, so I'll try to stay away from really sharing my opinion on a lot of those kind of Japanese cultural things that I really don't like. So yeah, let's move on. So that's everything that I watched. Wasn't really much, but I still wanted to talk about it. Now let's get into everything that I've read. And let's not do it in any particular order. I'm just going to do all of the books and then all of the comic books, because those are just what I happen to have at the at the bottom here. So let's see, how do I organize this in a way that's easy? Okay. This is the latest thing I read, Urusei Yatsura. Didn't really end up liking it all that much. I thought it was fun for what it is, and I thought some of it in the second volume was pretty good, but overall, I think that it's just middle of the road. I want to check out another volume of it, but I think that I might move on from this onto other better Rumiko Takahashi works, because this was kind of disappointing. So yeah, it kind of sucks because I was pretty excited about it. So yeah, I don't know. That's all there is to it. It just sucks. Okay, so next, Buddha. It was pretty good. I actually really liked it. It's a historical text. Basically, Osamu Tezuka is retelling the story of Buddha. I'm guessing it's from a specific book, or a specific version of the history of Buddha. I'm not really sure. I just know that I liked it. I thought it was really good. Although we don't actually meet Buddha in this book. At the end of the book, he's being born, but everything before it is kind of like setting it up and kind of showing you, hey, these are all things Buddha will be able to do. All of these people that we're showing you are kind of telling you something that Buddha is going to be able to do, and is going to connect to something that is going to happen with Buddha later, at least from what I understand of the history of Buddha. So I thought that was really good, really interesting. I really liked it. The art style is old as hell, but it's pretty cute. It does have a charm to it. So I thought that was fun. There you go. Then let's see. Again, out of order. So Kaiju number 8. Awesome stuff. I love it so much. Kaiju number 8 is one of my favorite series. Definitely going to be a contender for top 10 manga that I read this year. I'm still going to make that video. It's going to come out sometime between today, the day you guys watch this, and the 20th. I just haven't figured out exactly what day, but definitely one for the that video for sure. So yeah, Kaiju number 8. I have like 5 different videos explaining the premise of Kaiju number 8, so I'm not going to mention it again. Then Hitomi-chan is Shy with Strangers. Really, really cute, kind of wholesome slice of life, senpai and cute kohai kind of relationship situation here going on. Really, really good. I like it a lot. It's kind of in the same vein as Komi, but not in the exact same style. And I like it a lot. I think Hitomi-chan is adorable as fuck. She's very pretty, very cute, but also very attractive overall. And I'm pretty interested to see what's up with this delinquent character that shows up later on. So I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, Hitomi-chan is Shy with Strangers is really, really good. Definitely can't wait for more of that. Then Requiem of the Rose King volumes 1 and 2. Really enjoyed it. It's kind of like Game of Thrones without so much of the magic system kind of thing. It's very low magic, but there's still kind of like elements of that because there's this kind of ghost character. And I think it's very interesting, very cool. I really like this. There's definitely a lot of like softcore BL vibes, and it doesn't bother me. It's just kind of interesting to notice it because it's like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like from my perspective, right? As a, cishet straight person. I think it's kind of interesting. It's a kind of, what's it called? Kind of variety that I really don't get to see much in my fan service kind of style of things. And it's kind of interesting because it kind of shows me how it works on the other side of things. But generally, it doesn't really affect the story at all. It's just kind of interesting. Some of the poses are kind of made that way in order to be kind of attractive, and I totally understand that. So I don't really have any issue with it. I just thought it was an interesting kind of thing to notice. So yeah, let me take a quick sip of Coke right now. Give me a second. Okay, so let's see. Um, Vinland Saga, Volume 4, or Omnibus 4. Very, very good. It kind of finishes up the storyline there with Canute and with Askeladd, and I was really, really excited to see how that ended, how that concluded. And it starts this like farmland arc, which is kind of interesting. It's just the evolution of Thorfinn as a character is very, very interesting. It's this person affected by violence in such a way that he kind of changes personalities a few times over this, over violence affecting him. And I think it's very, very interesting. It's a very good work here by Makoto Yukimura. So yeah, overall, really loving Vinland Saga. Can't wait to pick up more of it, but these are kind of expensive volumes. I can't really buy one that easily, at any given time. So yeah. That's all I have to say about it. Vinland Saga is really, really good. Definitely going to be a contender for top 10 manga of the year for sure. So yeah, that's it for that one. Let's see. And then I read Gleipnir Volumes 1 and 2. Really, really enjoyed it. I think it's very, very interesting. It's kind of this exploration of the human condition. It kind of talks about loneliness and kind of who you want to be and your dreams. And it kind of reminds you of Yagan. Although the art style I think is better in this one than in Yagan, because Yagan has that kind of like Gantz art style that is really good, but it kind of falls into the uncanny valley a bit too much sometimes, and it kind of makes it hard to kind of enjoy for me personally. I think it gets too grotesque. But overall, very, very interesting stuff here. There's a lot of eroticism in this volume or in this series. So if you're not really interested in that, definitely don't read this. But it is a very, very interesting kind of like story that is being told. So really liking it. I can't wait to pick up more. I think there's 11 volumes of it total so far. And in English, I think the 10th one just came out. So I definitely want to go pick that up as soon as possible. But I have a few other priorities too. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Gleipnir 1 and 2, really, really good stuff. Then Rent a Girlfriend 3. Now, this is by no means the best book ever, but it is very enjoyable, and I have this kind of like morbid curiosity about how this is going to end up. I think that it's the same kind of curiosity that makes soap operas interesting. This kind of like, oh, there's these spins of lies and these kind of like crazy things happening here and there. How is it going to be resolved? It's that same kind of vibe, right? And I think that's really interesting, and it kind of helps kind of keep this interesting for me quite a bit. Now, there's a lot of people that say, this is a really relatable story and stuff like that. I don't really think so. I think that, Kazuya is a little too self-serving to be kind of a relatable character for me. And I think that, that Chizuru is a very complex character, but I also don't think I've ever met someone quite like her. And so, again, it's not a really relatable story at all. Sadly, Mommy is the most relatable character so far because she's just a horrible person. And it's not like the best. I don't think it's a really relatable story at all. But I do think that there's a certain element of like realism or this like likelihood of things like this happening to someone. And so you kind of have this like interest in knowing how it goes because it is interesting. So yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about that one. I don't know. My thoughts on this story, the story are so kind of like all over the place. I don't really know how to describe it. So yeah, there you go. That's Rent a Girlfriend 3. And then I think that's everything that I completed. There's definitely stuff I've started, but we'll move on to that in a minute. Let's talk about all the comic books that I read now. So let's see. I bought a few more comic books than the ones I'm going to mention, but due to some mail issues, like mailing issues, like USPS and stuff like that, a lot of the comic books that I bought this month, I couldn't read because I'm missing volumes or issues from the previous month, and so they're kind of in limbo, so I'm not going to talk about those right now. I'll talk about them in my haul video, though. But let's start with the stuff that I read that is a collected edition. So here's the Venom trade paperback, Volume 1. My buddy Josh gave it to me, and I really, really appreciated it. I thought it was a really good story. Really enjoyed it. I think that Donny Cates really kind of evolves the character quite a bit, and I thought that was really, really good, so I liked that a lot. Overall, very enjoyable read. So there you go. That's Venom. And then Lady Mechanic of 1. A very interesting world building, very interesting character design. I'm not sure that I understand what's going on just yet, but I think that it's a good first volume. And I think that there's only about 5 or 6 more volumes out there so far, so it really shouldn't be that hard to collect them. But I think I'm gonna take this slow because I think that binging it would probably not be the best way to go about it, because I think that these stories need some time to kind of like percolate in your mind and kind of like go through them, because it is kind of like not really a thought heavy kind of thing, but the ambiance of it kind of does lend itself to taking it slow and kind of enjoying this kind of steampunk Victorian era, you know, kind of story, instead of like consuming it as fast as possible. It doesn't really have that kind of like hype train kind of vibe to it. So definitely think I'm going to take this slower, but I really did enjoy it. So can't wait for picking up volume 2. Then let's talk about single issues that I bought. So the first one, and I think the most interesting one that I read this month that isn't a Dark Knights of Steel or Dark Ages issue, is this Wonder Woman Historia. So this is kind of like a retelling of the origin of the Amazons according to DC, specifically the ones that eventually lead to Wonder Woman. And I thought it was really interesting. I think the artwork and the kind of way everything works is really interesting. But, you know, they're not very subtle with this kind of like men suck mentality, which I guess is part of the Amazons. But I thought it was like a little too on the nose for, you know, a genre that is mostly male oriented. I mean, let's be honest here, most people that buy comic books are not women. And so I think that it's kind of weird that they would like basically attack men. But I don't really have a fragile ego or anything like that, so it doesn't really bother me. And in fact, I tend to agree with a lot of the things that they talk about. But like, I just don't think that the way that they phrase it is the best. But overall, it doesn't really end up mattering. I just think that the artwork was really awesome. This is a DC Black label, that's why it's so big. But overall, really, really good stuff. Just early on in the beginning there was this kind of like very like anti-men, not really feminist agenda or anything like that. It was more just misandrist. Like, it was just like, men suck, fuck you guys. And like this kind of like aggrandizing of the female gods that I was like, I mean, no. I didn't think it was that good, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, I think the story that they told was pretty good. I can't wait for book 2. So yeah, there you go. That's Amazon's Historia. Or Wonder Woman Historia Amazons. Yeah, that's what it's called. Okay. These aren't in order either, but let's see. Dark Knights of Steel issue 2. Really good stuff. I really like the cover. Really like the story. They introduced a new character called Zala El, which is kind of what's called Kal-El's sister. Pretty interesting. Pretty excited to see where it goes. Devil's Reign. Pretty good stuff. I don't know if I want to keep reading it, but I don't hate it. And I thought that some of the characters that were introduced were pretty interesting, or like the characters that they talk about were pretty interesting. And I've never really read a Daredevil story before, so I don't have a problem with trying one out. And I think the art style was pretty good. But there's a lot of tie-ins that I wanted to get. But then I realized that, you know, maybe I don't need all of those tie-ins. And I don't really want to spend all that money on stuff that maybe isn't even going to be that good. So I'm just going to stick with the main storyline. And if I like it enough, I'll buy the trades with all of the tie-ins. Here we go, Vampirverse. I'm getting these mostly because of the covers, because the story really isn't that amazing, but it's almost done, so I'm just going to continue and finish it off. I mean, there's only 2 more issues, so there you go. But I really like this cover. This kind of like metallized armor, like arms and legs. The pose is really interesting, and of course, this katana lightsaber thing is pretty cool. But yeah, in general, I just think the story isn't really that amazing, but it's not horrible, so I'm excited to see where it goes. Hopefully it ends up with something interesting, but so far it's kind of wishy-washy. Here we go, Red Sonja by Mirka Andolfo. I really like this. It's a very kind of lone wolf and cub kind of story, which I think is cool. I like that. I think Mirka Andolfo is doing a great job writing it, but I think that it's moving pretty slow, and I think that's because they're trying to stretch us out into a series that lasts a while, and I don't necessarily know that that's necessarily the right call there, so we'll see. Especially because there's like a bunch of Red Sonja titles going on at any given time. And I don't know, I don't think there need to be that many for a specific character. So yeah, we'll see how that ends up going. Here we go, Dark Hawk issue 4. This is the second to last volume, or I think there's one more after this. This one was probably by far the best. There's finally some good action here. When Captain America and Miles Morales show up and they have this kind of conversation here, and I like that. I think the artwork is pretty good. I think Kyle Higgins is finally kind of like getting to the point of the story, but it's almost done, so I would hope so. Yeah, not too much there. Task Force Z, didn't end up liking this anymore. I'm gonna get rid of it. I don't think it's very interesting. It's basically like conceptually very interesting, but I don't like zombies. I just picked this up because I thought it sounded cool, and I was hoping that it would be cool enough to interest me beyond the initial premise. But no, it's mostly just about zombies, and I don't really care. So getting over that, not really enjoying that. Wonder Woman Evolution, not going to continue this either. Not really any particular reason. I mean, the artwork isn't really my favorite. These characters look like they're emaciated. I don't like that very much. The story sounds interesting, but not that much. So I'm just going to get rid of it. There you go. So yeah, I'm going to stop collecting it. I'll probably keep the first volume for a while. Dark Cold Wasp. This is almost done. This is a pretty interesting look at the Wasp character. I didn't really know that there was this kind of like abused wife story to her. I think it's actually a really interesting kind of story, and I hope that, you know, we kind of talk about it in the MCU, but I very much doubt that it's going to be the case. But overall, pretty interested in this still. I think the art style changing all the time is pretty interesting, but I would have liked a more modern one, but I mean, it doesn't really end up mattering all that much at the end of the day. This is almost done. This is there's like 1 or 2 more Darkhold books before it ends. Transformers Grimlock. I liked it. I think that's finally ending. I think it has one more issue left, and we finally got some good action here between Grimlock and this like golden dragon sword thing person, which is really cool. I don't necessarily think I'm going to pick up another Transformers title after this one ends, but I thought it was cool, so I liked it, and I got to experience it, and that's good enough for me. Gunslinger Spawn, I really like this. I'm really interested to see where it goes. I think this is by far the best Spawn title that I'm reading right now, mostly because it's basically brand new, and so I don't really have to have like the knowledge beforehand, and so it's making it easy to kind of stay interested in the story. Also, it just looks badass. So yeah, Gunslinger Spawn, definitely my favorite Spawn title right now. DC versus Vampires, I'm pretty sure I'm getting rid of this as well. I don't really want to continue it. It's a lot more like political intrigue and kind of like thriller style than it is straight up action, and that's not really what I was looking for with this story, so I'm gonna get over it. I'm not gonna continue to collect it, and yeah, the art style is pretty good though. I like it, so yeah, that's all there is to say about that. So yeah, here we go. Justice League Incarnate. I think this is a key issue. There's an introduction of a new character. The new character didn't end up being all that interesting, so I'm gonna stop reading this. But it was interesting for the kind of novelty of it. The art style was okay, and yeah, I'm not gonna continue this though. Deathstroke Inc. Not gonna continue this either. I liked it. I think it's pretty interesting, and I finally got to the point where they're kind of getting to the point of the story, the climax of the story. But I just don't think that the climax of the story is that interesting, so I'll just get it in trade if I ever end up deciding to finish reading it. So yeah, but still, artwork is pretty cool. And then my 2 basically holy grail titles here, Dark Ages and Sweet Paprika. Really good stuff. Continuing off where it left off in the last volume, or the last issue. Sweet Paprika is a kind of rom-com, very kind of raunchy story, very similar to a soap opera. If you like soap operas, or if you've known about soap operas and never gotten around to them, check this one out. I think you'll probably like it. And then Dark Ages here. This is halfway through the story. Things are ramping up. It's starting to look like stuff is going to happen now, and I'm pretty happy about that. I'm pretty excited to see where Tom Taylor goes with this. And I guess there won't be a continuation of this because Tom Taylor is now exclusively with DC, but I think that this could definitely have been more than 6 issues. So hopefully Ivan Coelho tries to get it to continue to go on after Tom Taylor finishes it. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's everything that I've actually read. now let's talk about stuff that I started to read that I want to finish before the end of the year, and then we'll talk about the stuff that I'm going to take with me to holiday to read during the holidays. So, yeah, let's start with what I started to read already. So I started reading this. I read the prologue. And it's pretty good. I like it. It kind of reminds me of Don Machi, but with that kind of more normal, like edgy main character style that is pretty popular right now. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's pretty interesting. And overall, I think it's going to be pretty exciting to read. So I'm really happy with that. Can't wait to get more into this. I'll probably end up taking this with me to Mexico if I don't get to finish it. But I hope to finish it before I go to Mexico. So we'll see how it goes. Then I started reading Freezing, Volume 1. And I'm going to try to finish this one and this one all tonight. Because when I get home, I want to start selling stuff off. I want to have a unhaul video for the month of for the year of 2021 and get some cash out of it so I can go and buy some manga in Mexico, and so I can have some money for January when I want to buy some manga. So yeah, so far I'm liking the art style. I think the story is not that interesting, and I think that the art style, even though it's good, the fan service aspect of it focuses too much on like obscure panty shots, and I think that that's really gosh, I guess it's not very interesting. It's a kind of like cliche and boring, and it's a little too kind of like lowbrow. It could have done better things. The art style is really good. The kind of way that they kind of decide to do fan service is pretty good. It's just what they focus the fan service on, I think, is just really boring, and it's kind of disappointing. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I can still get a pretty penny out of these, so I'm not too, worried about it. But yeah, there you go. That's Freezing. So I'll try to finish this as soon as I can. Then I started City Hunter. Weabra was nice enough to send this to me. He managed to get it from Mexico, and he sent it to me. I definitely want to finish this relatively soon, probably today, tomorrow, because I want to see if I want to buy more City Hunter when I go down to Mexico this year for Christmas. I don't necessarily know that I want to based on the first chapter, but it is pretty interesting. It's kind of like Mission Impossible / James Bond, but at a city or a very kind of street level, and I think that's pretty cool. I like that. The main character here, this guy, is kind of interesting, but he's also not the best because he has this very kind of like sleazy kind of attitude to him. But overall, I think that he could be an interesting character if allowed to breathe a little bit. So hopefully I finish this, and I want to get more of it. If not, it's no big deal. I still think that this is a good enough addition to just have the single volume. So yeah, that's good enough for me. So we'll see how that goes. Then the last few things here that I want to finish reading are Monster Girl Doctor, sorry, not Monster Hunter, 2 and 3. These are light novels, so I'll probably be able to finish them pretty quickly. And I don't really have much to do Friday and Saturday. Gonna be a bit busy on Thursday, but Friday and Saturday I'll definitely have time to read, so probably end up finishing these by then. And then I just bought these today. I want to finish Drifting Dragons 4 and 5, and yeah, I'll see how it goes. I think I'll probably take these with me to Mexico. I'm not really sure yet. I haven't really decided what to do, but I definitely want to finish these for this year, so we'll see how that goes. Now, that's everything that I have read or want to read before the end of the year. Now let's talk really quickly, because I'm running out of of voice here. Let's talk about really quickly about what I want to take with me to Mexico for reading. So let me take a sip, and then we'll continue. Okay, so let me pull up my notebook here. So again, the 3 digital titles that I want to read are Dr. Stone, Truth of Petrification, which is the penultimate saga. It's the one that just finished on chapter 212, if I remember correctly. Then I want to get around to the Summit War Saga, the next saga in One Piece after Thriller Bark before Fishman Island. I'm gonna still do One Piece videos, and the only reason why I'm gonna continue is because one, the manga and what I focus on is not based on Toei animation at all, and two, I already pay for the service where I read it, so if I'm already paying it, money's still going to One Piece anyways, so I might as well just read it. And in fact, I actually do want to support Oda, I just don't really care to support Toei, so I'm not gonna watch the anime or anything like that. I'm only gonna focus on the manga, so there you go. Now, the other final title here is JoJo's Part 2. I want to read it. It's only 79 chapters, not volumes, sorry, chapters. So I should be fine doing it, but I'm curious to see if I'm going to end up liking it. And if I don't, I'll probably end up reading something else, but we'll see. And then, in terms of stuff to read physically, I'm gonna continue with Reign of the Seven Spellblades issue Volume 3. If I manage to buy Volume 4 before I go to Mexico, I'll definitely read that as well. But for now, just Volume 3. Tanya, Saga of Tanya the Evil, Volume 1. I want to read this. I think it's a pretty good one because it's a pretty thick book, so it should be kind of last me at least a few hours to read it. So that's pretty good. And Solo Leveling, Volume 3. I also want to take with me The Shadow Rising, which is book 4 in the Wheel of Time. I want to continue the story. And if I have enough space, I'm going to take Reborn as a Space Mercenary Volume 2. But this one I might keep at home because, well, I don't know. It's not really all that ecchi, but I don't really want to have to explain this to someone if, one of my cousins decides to, snoop around my thing. So we'll see how it goes. But I probably am going to keep this at home for now. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you guys are reading this month. Let me know if you guys have any special reading plans for the holiday. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, like I said. And thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.